Hello and welcome to the opening round of the GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS season in 2025 from here at Circuit Paul Ricard. We're going to be doing something a little bit different for our preview this season, and I'm delighted to be joined by SRO media writer Jim Weeks. I'm Tim Fullbrook. We're going to be taking you through some of the hot topics and storylines ahead of this first race of the season. Jim, it's good to be back. The off-season's over, we're back at the racetrack, the field are here in pit lane. Time to get going, right?
It is time to get going. It's actually been a shorter off-season than usual because we ended last year very late, end of November in Jeddah, so we've not had to wait as long as we usually do to go racing again. But as you say, always great to be back at the track, great to be here in some glorious sunshine, and soon we're going to see some GT3 cars.
Absolutely. Well, let's start on the cars there as our first topic to discuss. Plenty of new teams, plenty of new machinery as well. And the particular car that's drawing a lot of attention is SRO Motorsports, who are bringing the Corvette name back to the GT World Challenge grid in Europe. With the Chevrolet, the Corvette Z06 GT3Is have been a big hit with the fans. And it's great to see a lot of support for that new car.
Yeah, a lot of people looking forward to seeing that car, a lot of people looking forward to hearing that car. Above all, as you say, great to have the Corvette name back in the championship. Two-time CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa winner and a name that really inspires a lot of passion among the fans. The other new car that we have this year, the BMW M4 GT3 Evo. So that's the Evo version of the very successful M4. That's a CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa winner. Champion in sprint, in bronze and silver, I think I'm right in saying. So I think the Evo, it's going to hit the ground running. I don't think it's going to be a car that needs time to be bedded in. I think with the teams they've got, teams like Rover and WRT, that car's going to hit the ground running.
Yeah, absolutely. And thinking about the other teams up and down the grid, another one that's drawing interest as well, Verstappen.com Racing and their Aston Martin, but new faces all over the place here, which is great to see.
Yeah, Verstappen are one of, I believe, 3 brand new teams. The others are Nordique Racing and Stella, of course, are a new team. We've got a few teams who are going full season, having done one-off efforts, Jakarta Racing and Paul Motorsport, and we have 2 teams who are back, having previously raced with us and taken some time out. That's VSR and RJN. So some new teams, some returning teams, and then a lot of established teams who people will know from the past.
New cars, new teams, but plenty of new faces as well in the grid this year. Doing the quick maths in my head, I haven't worked this out before, 59 cars, 3 drivers per car. That's 177 drivers to keep tabs on in the 2025 season, just in the Endurance Cup. So Jim, who's new and who should the GT World audience be keeping an eye on this season?
I think there are 39 rookie drivers on the grid this weekend making their debut, so a lot of talent to choose from. The person most people are paying attention to, or paying the most attention to, is Arthur Leclerc, brother, of course, of Charles Leclerc, Ferrari F1 star. Arthur is building his reputation as a Ferrari GT sports car driver. He's in a perfect situation to make an impression this year, racing with AF Corsa. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. He's in a very strong car with a very strong team. Apart from that, we've got a couple of FSA French GT champions, Etienne Chely and Mathieu Villagomez, a couple of British GT4 champions, Mikey Porter and Jamie Day. And I'm really interested to see what James Allen can do. He's coming here with a lot of experience in LMP racing, none in GT3 racing. What do you think he's going to be able to bring?
Yeah, I know, it's a really interesting side to the equation, I guess. There's a lot of drivers actually up and down the grid that have competed in prototype stuff and then come and race in GTs. I mean, you only have to look, as mentioned, at the AF Corsa lineup. You get people that are racing in hypercar, etc. But yeah, James Allen's a really interesting driver, and I think the key thing about him is he's good at getting his elbows out, and I think that is something that we see in GT World Challenge around the world is good to be able to do, especially in GT3 machinery. New faces, returning faces, and as champions, you're always going to have the target on your back. And of course, I'm thinking about overall champions, Lucas Auer and Mara Engel in the number 48 Mercedes-AMG Team Man filter car. Last year here at Circuit Paul Ricard, they actually didn't have a very good run of things. Finished P45 overall, 3 laps off the lead. But they built from there. They went back on to win the championship, really gathered that momentum over the rest of the season. But that's what's quite interesting about this first race, isn't it, Jim? Your story, your run to the title, be it Endurance Cup or overall, starts here. You're either chasing the order, trying to make up points as our champions were last year, or you're the ones that are leading from the outset, trying to defend that lead in the points.
Yeah, the man-filtered car didn't have a good result here last year, as you say. They were dominant in sprint, but they didn't really catch fire in endurance until the last few rounds. So they really hit form by winning the finale in Jeddah and snatching the title. They benefited slightly from the fact that last year this was a 3-hour race, this year it's a 6-hour race, so there were more points on offer this weekend. I think while it's not disastrous to not score here, you really do want to register some points because you're chasing it if you don't. So I think if you've got serious title aspirations, you just want to get points on the board. Just not be chasing points when you get to Brands Hatch, Zandvoort, and the later endurance races.
You touched upon it there, the change to the race this year. Paul Ricard moves back to a 6-hour format. We have qualifying on Saturday and then the race on Saturday evening, getting underway at 6 p.m. local time. Racing 6 hours into the night, and we'll see the checkered flag waved and the first champagne sprays of the year shortly after midnight local time. Something really exciting, isn't there, Jim, about sports cars, endurance racing, hammering around a racetrack at night, through sunset into the darkness. It's a unique feature to endurance racing as a whole, but here at Paul Ricard, it adds another challenge, doesn't it, to the teams and drivers, how they approach the weekend and indeed how they attack the race. Over 6 hours, it's a long time to go racing.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's absolutely brilliant that this race has gone back to a 6-hour format. It was great when it was in June. It was great when we did it in April. It is just a great place to do a 6-hour race, as you say, with the sun setting. And yeah, it's a huge challenge. Driving one of these cars in darkness is not for the faint of heart. You reference point change, the headlights are a real distraction, and think about the teams as well. They've got to do 5 scheduled pit stops in changing light conditions. The last few are going to be in the dark. There's huge pressure on them as well.
Absolutely, let alone setting up a car to be good across the race. And actually an interesting point, we're all watching the weather forecast, because although we're used to it being sunny and blue skies as it is at the moment here at Paul Ricard, the rain seems to be creeping in on Sunday night, and I wonder if it's going to spice things up in the later stages of the race. So obviously it's easy to pay attention to that overall fight for race victories and for the championship, but we've had incredibly close fights across the 3 other classes in the GT World Challenge Europe grid. I'm thinking last year particularly about the Silver Cup, for example, where it had 3 different champions across the season. With such strong fields for 2025 in gold, silver and bronze, expecting more of the same in 2025, aren't we, Jim? It's going to be a great fight for all of these titles we've got lined up.
It absolutely is, and silver's really interesting because it's really gone up in terms of numbers from last year. It's actually more than doubled since the last race of last year. We've got 17 silver cars here this weekend. And it's such an interesting class because you've got guys like Ezequiel Perez-Companc, who's been racing in this championship for 10 years. And then you've got guys who are barely out of karts. It's such a diverse field, and it's going to be really competitive. Bronze is as competitive as ever. I think it's 16 cars at the moment for them, so that'll be a really tight fight. It's a really interesting mix there of amateur drivers, very skilled amateur drivers, silver drivers, and then factory drivers, really top professional drivers, guys like Ricardo Fella, Davide Rigon, really top drivers. And then gold, it's only in its 3rd season, I think, since being introduced, but it's up to 8 cars now, and that's looking strong. That's a sort of mix of, let's say, up-and-coming professional drivers, younger pros. The Verstappen.com car is in there, for example, and yeah, that also is going to be more competitive than ever, so we really are in for some really great racing this year, I think.
A reminder then that you can watch all of the GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS action on the GT World YouTube channel. A reminder that we've got a condensed schedule here at Circuit Paul Ricard, so qualifying and the race are on Saturday. We'll set the grid at midday local time in France, and then we'll go racing at 6 p.m. into the night. But that's not the only on-track action we've got this weekend. Plenty of other things to see racing around this brilliant circuit.
Yeah, we've got GT2 European Series powered by Pirelli, GT4 European Series powered by Rafa Racing Club and Lamborghini Super Trofeo, each staging 2 races each. 1-hour races for GT2 and GT4, 50-minute races for Lamborghini, so a lot of GT racing going on this weekend in addition to the 6-hour race.
Yeah, so we've got a jam-packed Sunday to look forward to. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us on the GT World YouTube channel for a slightly revised look at the race ahead, a different preview format. We're trying it out. Let us know what you think if you'd like to see more of this across the season ahead. But from Jim Weeks and myself, Tim Fullbrook, thank you very much for watching, and we hope you enjoy the race.